Welcome back to Straight Facts by Dinar Investor.
Parliament ends its second session by voting on a law and the return of another to the government. 9-1-6-20190 comments. The Council of Representatives voted in the second session of the first legislative term of the second legislative year of the fourth parliamentary session, which was chaired by the President of the House of Representatives, Mohammed Halbousi. On Monday, a draft law to draw the stamp of the national campaign to build schools and kindergartens, he finished his reading and discussing 7 laws. At the outset of the meeting, the Council voted on a draft law to draw the stamp of the national campaign to build schools and kindergartens submitted by the Education Committee for the purpose of providing the necessary funds to build schools and kindergartens in order to contribute all segments of society and provide the financial resources required for this purpose. The Council voted to reject and return the draft amendment to the first law of the Ministry of Education No. 22 for the year 2011 to the government on the recommendations of the Education and Finance Committees. For its part, the Parliamentary Education Committee demanded the Prime Minister the need to resolve the submission of a candidate for the post of Minister of Education. Meanwhile, Speaker of the House of Representatives Mohammed Halbousi, the Committee on Health and Environment to submit a detailed report on the reasons for the resignation of the Minister of Health and Environment to be presented during the sessions next week. The Council completed the first reading of the proposed law to abolish the offices of General Inspector submitted by the Legal and Integrity Committees, in order to administrative and prevent duplication of tasks and to accelerate anti-corruption measures. For his part, the representative of the government in the House of Representatives Turhan Mufti to the government does not object to the cancellation of the offices of public inspectors as sole. Meanwhile, Beta Kader Benim was sworn in as deputy in the House of Representatives instead of MP Emmanuel Kashaba. The Council also voted to add a paragraph lifting immunity from MP Fayeq Shikali on the agenda of the meeting. The Council postponed reading the report and discussion of the draft law on communications and information submitted by the Committees of Communications and Information and Services and Construction. The Council completed the first reading of the draft law on the accession of the Republic of Iraq to the Convention on the Recognition and Enforcement of Foreign Arbitral Awards, New York 1958, submitted by the Committees of Foreign and Legal Relations for the purpose of the recognition of the Republic of Iraq and the foreign arbitration decisions issued in the territory of another state party to the Convention on the Recognition and Implementation of Foreign Arbitral Awards. Similarly, joined the Convention on the Recognition and Enforcement of Foreign Arbitral Awards, New York, 1958. The Council completed the first reading of the draft law on the accession of the Republic of Iraq to the Convention on International Road Transport of 1975, submitted by the Committees of Foreign Relations, Services and Reconstruction, with the aim of facilitating the international road traffic for transport operators and their agents through the movement of goods subject to customs seals by a simple and cost-effective system and reduce delays at crossings for the purpose of acceding to the 1975 Road Transport Convention. On the other hand, the Council completed the first reading of the draft law on the accession of the Republic of Iraq to the Convention on the Identity of Seafarers No. 185 for the year 2003, submitted by the Committees of Foreign Relations, Labor, Social Affairs, Immigration and Displaced Persons, in order to use modern techniques in preparing and printing the identities of seafarers granted by the state to seafarers for the purpose of leaving that state and return to it, and the use of sophisticated software and the international telecommunication network for the preservation of data, restrictions, records and identity check, and for the purpose of accession of the Republic of Iraq to the Convention on the Identity of Seafarers Documents No. 185 for the year 2003. The Council completed the first reading of the draft law on the accession of the Republic of Iraq to the Maritime Labor Convention of 2006, submitted by the Committees of Foreign Relations, Labor, Social Affairs, Migration and Displaced Persons, in order to ensure fair competition and preserve the rights of maritime labor and the right to work under decent conditions and cover all aspects of their work and their lives on board ships. Accession of the Republic of Iraq to the Maritime Labor Convention for the year 2006. The Council postponed the first reading of the draft law of the 21st Amendment to the Law of Owners No. 25 for the year 1960, submitted by the Finance and Integrity Committees. During the session, which was chaired by Vice President Bashir al-Haddad, the Council finished the first reading of the draft law of the Faculty of Air Force and submitted by the Committee on Security and Defense because of the separation of the Army Aviation Command from the Air Force Command, and in order to prepare officers and pilots for the purpose of reviewing the curriculum and raising the admission rates of students in the college in line with the development of the Air Force equipment. The Council began reading a report and discussing the health insurance law proposal submitted by the Health and Environment Committee. For his part, Dr. Bashir al-Haddad pointed to the importance of the law for its contribution to alleviate the suffering of citizens and works to increase and develop the services provided, calling on the relevant committees to contribute to its achievement. Meanwhile, the representative of the government in the House of Representatives, Mr. Turhan Mufti, called on the House of Representatives to wait in the vote on the law until the arrival of the opinion of the government and the Ministry of Health on the law, noting its importance for his contribution to the service of the citizen. The interventions focused on the importance of listening to the opinion of the government on the law in order to maturity, and add those affected by the policy of the former regime and include exemptions in the law, and refusal to refer health institutions to self-financing and the introduction of investment in health services, stressing the need to set up various workshops concerned as an important law that contributes to community justice. In response to the interventions, the committee concerned expressed its readiness to listen and take the suggestions and opinions submitted, pointing out that the health insurance law does not mean that the state disavows from providing health services to the citizen, noting that the purpose of the law is to provide higher and better health services to citizens, calling for the need to continue dialogues and discussions on the law until maturing. On the other hand, the Council discussed a number of important social and service issues, including the restoration of the powers of education directorates in the provinces to the Ministry, resolve the issue of delay in granting the farmers of the Kurdistan region of their rights, provide protection for the electors of the regions of the liberated provinces and compensate the people whose property was destroyed by terrorist operations. In addition to expedite the compensation of those affected by floods and floods at sweeps and provinces during the last winter season. Then it was decided to adjourn the session until tomorrow, Tuesday, September 17, 2019,